Today, let's talk about my updated crypto portfolio for the first time in a long time. We'll go through what I'm holding on to, for better, for worse, what I have capitulated out of or just dumped for whatever I possibly could, and or what literally has no value and is not even liquid enough to possibly even trade anymore. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Crypto Bobby, aka Bobby Two Monitors. And today, like I said, a lot of you folks have been asking in the past really few months, update your portfolio, update your portfolio, update your portfolio. And we're finally doing that. So went through it, updated my portfolio. We'll dive into the computer and walk through everything, as well as just my general strategy and thought process on the crypto market and kind of my investment thoughts for the time being. As always, I am not a financial advisor. I have no clue what the hell I'm doing for the most part. And by the way, for those who love me so much, I'm going to be doing a special holiday edition of Mean Tweets. I've gotten a lot of really good ones lately. Got a lot of fantastic go F yourself Bobby tweets. But if you have something very nice to say to me and you'd love to include it in the comments, it may show up in Crypto Bobby's next week episode of Mean Tweets. But let's get into my portfolio. So here in my garage, aka inside my computer, we have my brand new updated portfolio that is a lot less valuable in fiat terms than the last time I updated this bad boy. That was kind of sad when I was going through the spreadsheet and putting this chart together. I was looking at what the portfolio used to be worth, and it was quite a lot more. And a lot of that was due to a number of what folks might refer to as shitcoins doing what shitcoins do and shitting the bed. That was it was a fun experiment to see. But looking at my portfolio now, how it's changed and how I am thinking about things here into the future, as you'll notice here, and for those listening on the podcast, I will have a link to my portfolio. It's on my website. It's cryptobobby.com/my-portfolio, but I'll have a link to that as well. But with the portfolio, as you will notice, the highest weighted crypto asset I currently hold is Bitcoin. It's close to 40% of my portfolio. And as it's close to 40% of my portfolio, the second highest asset is DAI. And for those who aren't familiar, DAI is a stable coin on Ethereum that is a little bit different than the other stable coins out there. It's a collateralized stable coin where investors essentially post collateral in Ethereum to mint new DAI. And so it's over collateralized. So it is not a fiat backed stablecoin, but I like it because it's not Tether. It's also not one of the fiat backed KYC required stablecoins or anything like that. So I think DAI is a pretty cool just experiment and place to park my money for the time being on a ledger. And I think a fairly safe way to do so. It's certainly not as safe as a fiat coin like a USDC or a GUSD or a TUSD that have one for one fiat behind it, or even Tether. It's probably not even as technically as safe as that, because if Ethereum goes to zero, DAI is kind of screwed. But DAI is the second largest holding I have, followed by Ethereum. That's a little over 10%. Then I have Jin. I run a few different Jin master nodes, so that's around 10%. And then rounding out the portfolio, I have Zcash, AST, XMR, and then Tezos. And Tezos, I entered Tezos late in the summer after I bought Tezos OTC from a friend, and I bought that around $2 and again at around $1. Unfortunately, Tezos is below 50 cents right now, so I got absolutely wrecked on that one. Not my smartest move, but it is what it is, and I don't think Tezos maybe necessarily has had its day in the sun. If we ever do see a bull run again, who knows? But looking and thinking about my portfolio and the construct of it right now, the reason I have over 30% of my portfolio in DAI is because I do think we are still potentially headed down a bit. And it's one of the easier places for me to hold a cryptocurrency that will remain relatively stable at $1. I think right now the average price of DAI, if we look here on the website, it's about $1.02. So about $1.02 for DAI. It's not exactly $1, but I do feel relatively confident keeping my crypto, or keeping some element of my crypto portfolio, about 30% in cash. And with what I'll do with that in the long term is, I do think we might see sub 3,000. I do think we're going to see sub $3,000 Bitcoin. It's going to be a lot of fuddy media articles out there, a lot of stupid stuff like that. And I plan on moving all my DAI into changing that over to ETH, changing that over to Bitcoin, and moving that back into Bitcoin. So you'll probably see about, at some point in time, about like 60 to 70% of my portfolio in Bitcoin again when things drop. Now, outside of that too, just like the combination of my portfolio and thought process in general is, even outside of the fiat value of my crypto portfolio, if we dip below $3,000, which again I think is fairly likely, outside of my typical dollar cost average, I think I am going to put a decent amount of fresh fiat that I have sitting in a savings account somewhere. I do plan on putting a good amount of fresh fiat into Bitcoin. I think we are starting to see fairly oversold levels in Bitcoin as well as in Ethereum, and I will likely scale probably 70% into Bitcoin, maybe 30% into ETH, with new money outside of the existing dollars that I have in the crypto world, or value of dollars that I have within the crypto world. Now, you might be looking at the portfolio as a whole and thinking, hey, what happened to some of the tokens that you used to have, or the cryptocurrencies that you used to have in your portfolio? And I'm pulling up my kind of a screenshot of my old Blockfolio. A couple ones that either I dumped or are literally so worthless that it's not even worth mentioning now. I got absolutely murdered on Archain. Shout out to Archain. Got totally worked on that. That one is down, I think, like 99.9999999%. It's just got absolutely crushed. And so Archain is one that I've gotten really, I think, about over like 99% down on Archain. Ideal. Sen, consensus token, another one that's down. I don't even think there's a liquidity to sell anything into Sen, but that's down quite a bit. I had some in gems from their ICO. That's essentially worthless and non-liquid. So burned some money there. And yeah, across the board, also Raven. I sold Raven when sold basically all my Raven when that kind of pump happened, and a little bit after when the pump stopped. And 0x was another one that I had, and ended up selling that token too. And that's been a good thing because that dumped after the Coinbase listing. So yeah, this is kind of where I'm at right now. Looking at kind of future thought process reallocation, I do still like the privacy coins. Zcash is one that I like long term. I don't have a very big position. I do have some of a position. It's less than 5%. I think like 3% of my portfolio. I think the inflation rate is definitely an issue with Zcash, though. I do like XMR as well. I also like the fact that Monero XMR is now within the Ledger GUI, so you can use Monero on your Ledger, which I think is pretty badass. A lot of people talk about Bitcoin, and there was even an article today about Bitcoin and money laundering and using ATMs for Bitcoin money laundering with cash, which is funny, but I thought, shout out Carpe Noctem, aka hashtag 33K by July, Moku. But he tweeted, I think, something along the lines of, yeah, of course, the best place to launder money is in a fully visible, fully immutable, decentralized ledger. So I thought that was pretty hilarious. And yeah, I mean, right now, I feel fairly, I mean, I don't necessarily feel like totally happy with my portfolio. Most of it is what it is. Still holding on to my Gin nodes for right now. I think it's one of the few, it's a fairly interesting token in the sense where it's kind of a payment token that's utilized to pay for the masternode hosting services. So it's not incredible utility, but there's $6.8 million of hosted nodes on the Gin platform right now. And that's after the fact that the price of most masternodes has really taken a massive dip. So in conjunction with Bitcoin. So I think Gin has been one of those things that I've been running masternodes on it. And It's still a fairly big percentage of my portfolio. I don't necessarily like love that, but I haven't been previously. I was selling my gin rewards. I haven't been selling my gin rewards at all. So that's been something that I've just been kind of hanging on to in case we ever do see another bull run that also is not only just Bitcoin or maybe Ethereum related, but also has like all the altcoins lifted up with it as well. Now, outside of that, if you guys have questions on the portfolio, I'm happy to answer them in the comment section. Always love your feedback. I'll probably see a lot of why you sell this, why you sell that. Sir, you sold this. Sir, why you know something token related to securities. Sir, why you know this? Well, I only have so much money to go around, and especially at this point in time, I don't have that much money to go around anymore anyway. So we're all in the same boat. You boys in the same boat. But definitely leave your comments below. Would love to hear them. If you even want to be so bold, would love to see you comment your percentages of your portfolio. Does not have to be obviously your dollar value, but percentage of fiat value would be pretty cool to see. So comment that below as well as your questions. Crypto Bobby signing out. Hope you have a good one. Peace.